And we're back.
Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. This is Salt of the Streets, part 4 of episode 151.
Yay.
My name is Donovan.
I'm Colin.
We are thrilled to have you all here. This segment, as always, is brought to you by Zeke Gaeta, our executive producer. You can go to the Patreon. You can subscribe. You can also become an executive producer if you subscribe at the highest tier. $5 gets you the newsletter. There are other various rewards. Is that what they're called?
I think so.
Yeah. So, and if there's anything you don't see that you want, you think is a good idea, let us know. We're happy to do it. We're, excuse us, always listening. We also have our own personal social media. I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. And Colin is at Big Bird Offie on both of those things. And you can find all of this at saltofthestreets.com.
Love it.
That's all. With that, this is the grab bag. This is Colin's segment. It's going to show us lots of cool stuff. Sometimes it's like mind blowing. Sometimes it's really scary. It's going to be great. I look forward to this. Not only because I get to sit back and just enjoy, but also because I see just a
wild
ton of shit. Yeah.
Yes. So the first video we're going to show during the grab bag is me and you are big fans of Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker, and they're everything they do, but also, especially their.
Before you continue,
at
the end of the segment, we're going to do the bits that we talked about last week. I'm holding us to it.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, we both, as a punishment for the Breaking Point segment last week, we had to write comedy bits. So we both wrote bits that we're going to do at the end of the show. So,
yes, we are. It's going to be fantastically. It's going to be great.
I'm putting it out there, so we have to do it.
Let's go. But yeah, this week we're a big fan of their podcast, right? A big fan of Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast.
Yes.
It comes out every Wednesday. There's a Patreon extra show that we do. We both sign up to it, the Page. And this week, on Wednesday, we're standing around, we're working, we're doing our thing, and I'm like, bitch, where's Matt and Shane at this week? Where's Matt and Shane at this week? It wasn't coming, and then finally Matt tweeted that, like, don't worry, the show is still here. It's going to come out tomorrow. And I was like, all right, cool, we can handle that. And then I remembered, oh, yeah. Fucking Shane's hanging out with Bert this week, and they're over at Barstool Sports.
Is this Shane Gillis?
That's fucking Shane Gillis right there. Don't you love it? And this is what Shane was doing instead of doing a goddamn podcast this week.
Oh, it goes. Oh, here we go. Grab him, guys.
Grab him. So they're playing some fucking water basketball game.
This is so funny.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Look at all those Bud Lights.
All the Bud, they're all Shane's. Look at that. Putting points. He's putting points on the board. Way to go, Shane.
So they're grown-ups, by the way.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, that's where Shane's been at this week.
So
he's having a good old time. Look at that. He's hugging on the dude, trying to tackle him. Definitely the biggest, whitest boy in the crowd, too. I love it.
He is the whitest person there.
100%.
That's so funny.
This guy's a close second, standing behind, but he's been outside more than once with his shirt off.
Yes.
And this is Shane's first time this year. You can tell.
It's not even sunny out.
No. Let's see. This one's
shit.
great. This is a revenge story. Bam! All these people coming up with awesome ways to fucking punch the dummy, and then cha-cha, cha-cha. And of course, bam! Revenge. He's just gone, baby. Gone. Oh, I love every second of this. Okay, so now let's get into some real meat and potatoes. This one's actually going to be a conversation starter.
Timcast suggests organizing protest in Martinsburg, West Virginia, after all ages drag performance took place on Queen Street earlier this month.
Yes.
Okay.
Part of the reason Timcast moved to West Virginia is because it's the free state of West Virginia, right? It's the most Trump-supporting state in the entire union, and
dude, government lies to you. He should know that.
Amen.
They're telling you it's the freest place. It's not
and
the
he's
freest
pissed
place.
off. So we can pause at any time, but it's a 2-minute long clip. We'll see what happens. So let's just let it roll.
Yep. Look, I can simplify it for you. This law says if two people, whether married or not, engage in open, gross lewdness, it's a misdemeanor.
That's every Pride March.
Well, look, call it whatever you want. I'm telling you, if we've got video of people putting on adult sex shows and bringing kids involved, that is more than just open lewdness. Yep. Where is the AG to immediately come? Now, you know what? They're scared. They're terrified.
See, the thing that we have to remember here is that Tim's had multiple people of the West Virginia legislature on, state representatives, state senators, commissioners, shit like that. And what Tim talks about when it comes to like West Virginia local politics, they fucking listen to him because he has sway in the state, which is a huge factor.
They're scared. They're scared of all of these people. Well, if you're in West Virginia and you're law enforcement and you are letting this stuff happen, I assure you, the people who live in West Virginia are very, very angry. Very, very angry. Look, the joke is up on the mountain, it's a bunch of right-wing nut jobs. Jefferson County explicitly banned children being at drag performances. Where are the cops? Granted. What I'm talking about outside of that is Berkeley County. My point is the residents of this area, the opinion doesn't just shift when you cross county lines. No, the people in Berkeley County are pissed off about this. I talked to them.
It could.
I'm pissed.
I'm not gonna. There's not a hard line in which people think differently, but the fact that one county did it and the next one didn't, when it became, even if they didn't think about it, as soon as the neighboring county did it, it's out there.
Oh yeah. We deal with the same stuff up here. I mean,
Right.
Jefferson County is like fucking terrified of what's about to come to them because of what happens in Pierce County down to the south with all the
Right.
people from Tacoma and this, that, and the other thing, which is bleed over from Seattle. And then from us, we get it from both sides. We get it from Pierce County and we get it from King County.
Well, and I told you the last time I went to Oregon to visit my aunt, she lives in
Oh, yeah.
Eugene, and there's a ton of homeless people there. And I was like, what's up with this? And she said, all of the cities around us have banned sleeping on the street. And so everyone just came here.
Yep.
And that's, I'm not saying it's the right idea, but that's what happens. And it's available when people want that.
Yes. What do you think happened to Austin?
Right.
When everybody started to move there, it became a massive homeless problem. And then what happened? Fucking Joe Rogan got involved. People started talking, this, that, and the other. Now there's homeless encampments in one area and it gets cleaned up every week and then they pop back up. But other than that, it's pretty legit.
Yeah.
Don't know what happened. They go somewhere else.
Pissed off about it because I'm spending money here. Mostly, let me clarify.
He's
I'm
a
not,
big economic force in West Virginia.
You're right.
That's a massive.
He's building things.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got a huge compound he's building. He brings in millions of dollars to the local economy and he goes out and he spends it.
Right.
Which makes him a major player.
He's not sitting on cash.
No.
not saying that we will see what the AG does, what the sheriff's department does,
Now
the
that
local
I've
police
announced
do,
it.
if anything. I'll give them time. I'm just pissed off that we can see in California, in New York, in Illinois, they release all of these criminals. They arrest the victims. And then where we live, when we expect a rule of law, we still don't get it.
Well, and if you can't have it happen in West Virginia, this is supposed to be like the safest haven for people that believe that this type of nonsense is disgusting and grotesque. Like 86% MAGA country, you would think that the DA here, of all places, would say, yeah, you know what, I can go arrest and know that I'm going to have a win in the court of public opinion, that the public will back me. My constituents
this dude
will
is.
re-elect me because they see me taking a stance against child indoctrination. If that can't happen here, something's deeply flawed, because this should be the place.
Well, I don't want to jump the gun
try
just
this
yet
too.
because this was just like
Try that
2
one.
weeks ago,
That's the-
right? So
the
there
panda.
and there are people telling me that they're reaching out to the office and they're demanding action in this regard. Maybe we'll see something.
I hope you do.
Maybe we need to organize some protests. Maybe we need to take a page out of the Volinsky's book and start utilizing their own tactics against them. Maybe we need to bring people out for a peaceful march through these streets, demanding an end to this, not letting it happen again.
So, we talked a lot about, like, we talked about pride parades earlier today, the fact that you've been going there you used to go there all the time.
Yeah.
And you would see rampant nudity all the time, right?
It was not rampant. There were like particular groups, right, that had nudity involved in their portion of the parade.
Well, we still
And
do like the
then-
Fremont bike thing every year.
Yeah,
where
yeah, and
naked
then
people drive on their
and
bikes.
then there are also like the rules are pretty relaxed for the public when you're there. So there are also attendants or attendees who are effectively nude. You know, so it's not like there was not wide swaths in the parade itself. Like I said, even like there were even portions like the Dykes on Bikes that stopped being nude when
Yeah.
I was there. So
And so my ultimate question after watching this clip, right? This is just somebody's reaction to seeing some of these things go around. He always uses very particular language about this. He calls them child sex shows and this, that, and the other thing, or sex shows where children are present. He
Yeah.
refers to them more or less always as drag events. In this particular case, it was like a all ages drag show that are like so many that we see on the internet these days. Very, very, you know, open and free when it comes to nudity and sexual expression and stuff like that. But in almost every single case, minus, say, like New York City, I know that was a big story when it happened, where they essentially withdrew a law in New York City that allowed women to go topless in Central
Yes.
Park, right?
Yes.
That was a huge deal, right?
I
And-
remember that.
But generally speaking, every state and every locality has bans on public nudity. Why is it okay during June to allow that kind of thing during sanctioned events where
Right.
you can essentially just overlook laws that are on the books and have no repercussions? I would argue that you probably shouldn't have those laws on the books to begin with, because I spent some time in Europe. Nudity is not a thing in Europe like it is over here. We're
Right.
still very prudish over here, more or less, for lack of a better term. But what are we to expect when, every year for certain periods of time or certain sanctioned quote unquote events, do we allow vast swaths of the public to openly break laws that are on the books, only to turn around and be able to enforce them at their own will?
Right.
This seems like
It's not a good standard to set.
it's not a good standard
yeah.
to set, but we've said it for a long time at this point.
And it's not something we even think about at this point. And we're like, oh, it's just part of the culture.
It's just part of that's part of what happens
Right.
at these things.
Which isn't accepted if the fucking this is hilarious. If the Catholic priests were like, it's part of our culture. Like we've been doing it for
Word.
so long that this is just part of what we do,
Yeah.
Just like it used to be in Rome, when they're
When in
like,
Rome.
listen, if you want to learn the things that I have to teach, you gotta take the seed also, The same type
It's
of deal.
so
but they're
dark.
Like, it's part of the culture. Like it's just what we're doing. And the people that learn from them, like it's just part of what we're doing. Like I don't know. I don't like it.
That's the
but
way it
it's what
is.
we're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, like, do we accept that type of shit, or I think that's very interesting. I have never considered that before. It's like I said, when I went there, I was there with my aunt and her wife, and like my aunt's kids and stuff like that, and so it was very much like an educational. Like it was chill. It
was chill. Was there as much kink involved as there is today? Do you recall? Because obviously, if there was, it didn't affect you. Very
Yeah,
much,
I mean,
right?
there's definitely a ton of people dressed up in drag and shit. Like I remember there was one person because I also used to. There was a couple years in a row when I made like a free hug sign. You know what I'm saying? Partially because I was like 12, 13 years old, and I was like,
As
I'm
one
about to
does.
feel some tits.
Yeah, baby.
Because there's a ton of women that are topless and just
Oh,
have
yeah.
like tape over their nipples, like whatever. When you're 13, that's more than enough.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So.
Porn has ruined everybody for
But
that.
you also hug like a ton of gay dudes and like everybody because you can't fucking discriminate because you're a gay pride, right? So there was one person who was dressed in drag who was also on stilts at the same time, who was probably
Whoa.
a foot taller than me.
Don't be doing
and
that.
I
That's
had
just dangerous.
Yeah, I had a picture with that person, and so yeah, there was all kinds of shit there. I said nothing that I never ever. The first time I went there was. We always learn things about Donovan during the grab bag.
Yes, we do.
So the first time that I went to Pride was also the weekend that I graduated from the 6th grade,
Okay.
and was also the same weekend that I smoked weed for the first time. All these things, all in the
Whoa.
same. What a big weekend for
That's a
13,
massive
12-year-old
weekend.
Donovan. Yeah. So, and I never. So I knew about banging,
But I
I
mean,
never felt uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
never was at a point where like that's weird, that's freaky. This is never. I never ever remember feeling uncomfortable there a single time.
interesting.
And I'm pretty conservative. Like I've always been pretty conservative as far as like
That stuff goes.
Yeah, I don't watch nothing wild. Like I
Nothing
don't.
wild.
No, I'm not a. I'm not.
I was
too
gonna say, I don't know what
adventurous,
you do in the bedroom, but you don't strike me as
Nothing
a dude
crazy.
that's
Yeah.
breaking out the leather and the chains and shit.
No, nothing crazy. So.
Okay.
So I would imagine if I had seen anything that made me feel that way, I would remember that, because I've always been like that.
You remember a lot of pretty in-depth stuff from back when you were younger, so I would
Yeah,
imagine it
especially
would've-
shit like that.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of those things like in pretty good detail because they all
It's gone.
they all ended like at the fountain. Kind of in the center of wherever the fuck that is. There's like all those places to eat and stuff around it, like big halls, dining halls and stuff. So it always ended there, and the fountain's on, and there's like a dance party and people dancing in the fountain and shit like that.
Oh, nice.
It's lit, dude. A bunch of
Yeah.
fucking wet t-shirts and stuff. It's awesome. It's a
does
great
not
time.
suck.
I always had a great time.
It's definitely a party.
Yeah.
Every single time I hear that.
The
Oh
last
no,
time-
not the priest ever.
The
said
last time I went, I went with some of my cousins, and I got super duper fucked up. And when I came home, I was fucked up. My mom was like, "Never again. You're not going to pray again."
It was like, I had too much
But
fun.
it was
Mom.
so much fun.
Oh, Dipper said I live 45 miles south of Austin, and their homeless moved to encampments along the Guadalupe River in our community. So much like many of the homeless problem, if you really want to solve it, all you're doing is making it someone else's problem.
Yep.
That does make sense. Well, speaking of homeless people, this transformation,
It's the Kingslayer.
do you know this guy?
That's who it is, right?
I don't know. No,
looks
it's not the
like-
Kingslayer.
Oh, it looks like the Kingslayer a little bit.
So, well, you'll find out.
All right.
It's a massive transformation. I haven't fully figured out whether it's real or not, but it's fucking wild to watch.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm not going to get popped again. I'm going to fucking silence this bitch.
I used to have.
This is wild. They spray some shit on his thing, and then
Did
all
they
his beard
pull
comes
his
out.
stuff out of his beard?
Yeah. And they pour hot wax on his feet.
Oh, I thought that
over
was
the
his
hot
skin.
rocks.
That scared me.
Yeah, and then he's getting, he's getting hair treatment, getting his eyebrows trimmed up, everything. He's got, got to get the beard going on, got to get that. That's some crazy dyeing
beard,
stuff
yeah,
for the eyebrows. I think some
Little haircut
color.
piece.
Yeah, this part he's not a huge fan of getting
Oof.
fucking waxed. Got to get some nice trim lines going on, shave the beard, get it
Wow.
all nice and cut. They're doing a really good job too of
Is this a
showing
homeless
you
guy
not-
or it's just a guy?
supposedly it's a homeless guy.
Okay.
Right, and they're setting him up with a new fucking look. And we remember what he looked like,
For him to go back to being homeless.
bro. And that's I don't understand. I do not understand, but it's fucking wild. And they'll do a full transformation thing here in a
Hopefully
second.
they give him
See,
all
that's
this.
what he looked
That's
like.
not real.
That's what I'm saying. It don't look real, right?
No.
But also, look at this motherfucker now. Boom.
Damn, bro.
That's so. Regardless of how homeless he was before, to take a dude that was in some way looking like he was, and to make him look like that just shows you what taking care of yourself can do to you.
That's right.
Okay, you don't
That's
take
really
care of
funny.
yourself. You let yourself go, and you look like this guy looks. Again, probably not real,
That's so funny.
but still.
He has a mug in his hair.
It's a can, bro.
No, he has a
oh.
mug in his hair. Oh, it is a can.
It's a
Oh, it
can.
is a can.
Yeah, he's
It
got a
looks
can
like-
down here.
It
And
looks like a loop right there. Like
Yeah. this seems way too
he has
overproduced.
multiple cans in his hair. That's
But
so
also,
funny.
dope ass fucking
He's just
video.
the most homeless person anybody's ever seen.
Yeah, and then look at that. Now he's you can tell it's fake because his teeth are so good.
Right.
That's how you can tell it's fake. But also, what a handsome young man. Look at
Yeah.
that. Look at that handsome devil there.
You can't be that homeless and not be addicted to drugs.
Exactly.
Regardless
His
of
life would just bang him right afterwards.
regardless of how homeless he was. That's so funny.
Do you like roller coasters?
Yes.
Have you been on many roller coasters?
Yeah.
How do you feel about doing the world's fastest roller coaster with a maximum speed of over 240 kilometers per hour?
That's super fast.
Which
The
I don't know what it's
only-
like in actual, stupid English terms.
The only type of roller coaster I don't like is where my feet hang down. Like
Oh,
where
yeah.
where they're not supported. I don't like that.
That's not fun.
But
I've done a couple of those.
yeah, I don't like that. But every other one I'm pretty into. The one in Leavenworth opened like 2 weeks after we
Yeah.
left. Super
I
dumb.
saw a dope ass video of
I
it too.
would
It
have gone
looked
on
sweet.
it. Yeah. It's freaky and I don't but I would do it. If I didn't think too much about it, I would do it.
So
Jordan would never do it, but I would do it.
I have a rule about roller coasters, right?
Okay.
Or just thrill rides to begin with, right? I will do them at long established amusement parks, such as like Disney, Universal,
No
Six
pop-ups.
Flags. I ain't doing your fucking county fair, bro. If that shit got rolled in on the back of a truck, I'm
Yeah.
not doing it
That's
because
fair.
that's stupid. Stupid. There's actually a video I excluded from the grab bag this week, which was just it was terrifying. It was a pop-up fucking, festival thing. And it was one of those rides that everybody sits in, it's a circle, and it slowly goes up around the tower, goes up all the way, and spins
Yeah.
for a little bit, and then just free falls, and then slowly brings it back down. Well, it failed. And they all just went smash. And you saw dudes fucking the safety harnesses rip off. Guys are flying left and fucking right, 20 feet in the fucking air. That's why I don't get on that shit at your fucking goddamn county fair. Do not do that shit. Doesn't seem smart. This, on the other hand,
Deborah says that's exploitation. Now what? They're gonna find him a job and a place to live. That's what I'm saying. That guy, that's not real. That's what I'm saying.
right.
Like, what's the point of that?
I believe
type of
his
shit?
job was an actor, and he got this role and just got paid money.
But that stuff does happen in real life, and it's the same deal. Like, what's the point? He's gonna still be homeless.
But also, all that hair that got, I mean, that was real life fucking hair. That
Yes.
got, you know, he might have been real burly.
Yes.
Maybe he was a homeless guy that they were like, hey, we need to make you look even worse than you do now. All right, let's really do it. We're gonna really fuck this shit up, and then
We're gonna glue
clean
some
you up.
cans in your hair.
Maybe. Okay, so this is the fastest roller coaster now on the planet. It's over in what is it, Abu Dhabi? No, yeah, Abu Dhabi. Thank you very much, sir. I'm fiending over here for now. Not really. I got my zins in. So check this shit out. Whoa! Of course, it's Ferrari.
Oh no! Ooh, I don't know about that. Oh, that's a lot. I don't know about that.
That's a lot. Here we go from inside.
That thing's zooming, dude. Ooh.
Please, God, hit the brakes. Hit
Oh
the
yeah, I don't
brakes.
know about that, bro. That's
You're
a
not
lot.
sporting that?
I don't know about that.
I'd fucking roll that. There was one when
That fucking loop freaks me out. That
the up and over. So there's a
so
ride
high, bro.
in the Jersey. It's like a South Jersey, kind of near Philadelphia. Six Flags. It's got like a Safari World and a water park. They got the whole trifecta going on. It's awesome. We did a morale trip there one year when I was stationed up in New York. Well, I went down there. It was fucking great, man. It was awesome. Got to ride roller coasters all day. Did the safari thing. It was sweet. But they had one. It was a new one. And it was called like the Giga Coaster or something like that. And it was the same design. Same fucking design. The whole thing was you sit in this thing. It was like a stand-up one. So
Okay.
the floor didn't drop out of you, but you did stand up, right? And you got the harness thing over, and it just shot you the fuck out. And you went up straight the fuck up, and you did a little twist, and then you came back down the other side, and then it shot reverse.
Oh,
You did the whole thing upside down and backwards. But the line was too long, and we couldn't get to it any other day by the end of the day, so we ended up skipping it, and I kind of regret it because I think that was the main fucking like high octane attraction at that point.
Yeah.
And then we totally missed it. So I kind of want to do that just to like scratch that itch to make sure I can go 500,000 fucking miles an hour around this goddamn crazy ass track.
I've been to Disney and Universal and in Florida, and in Universal there's like a Marvel portion of it, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was a Hulk themed roller coaster that was kind
Oh,
of similar to that you were like ticking up real slow, you know. And there's a whole story to it, and so there's like people talking at the same time. Yeah, and then all of a sudden you just fucking just shoot out of like right in the middle, and you just fire through the whole coaster. Yeah, it was super lit.
It was the Batman one at the Six Flags that I went to. That was the hanging one.
Okay.
Ooh, it's a whole. You gotta like just be right with your Jesus at that point,
Yeah.
bro. Because I'm in here for the thrill, and I don't want to think about dying the whole time. So I'm gonna try not to. You get real nervous right before you get strapped in and go, okay, if this is it, this is it. But I'm here for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that was fucking wild, man. Because I'm like, I'm super tall. I got these long ass legs. What if my leg gets clipped, bro?
Yes. And the last one that I was faced with was also at Universal, and it was in like a Greek god themed part of the park, and there was like a Dueling Dragons thing, and they come up and they would go against each other like this, and your feet were freeing. And I was like, I'm going to kick somebody, and I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to
no.
touch feet with a person.
No, because my foot's coming off.
It's going to hurt. Yeah.
It's gonna go away.
Yes. The last couple coasters I went on were at the Puyallup Fair, so they were one of the pop-ups. But that's a more legit, you know. But,
Yeah, super legit, bro.
I don't know. It was
Definitely,
it was before
definitely
I-
keep doing that. That's fine.
before I had kids. When I go to the Kids App County Fair this year, Dax is going to want to go on a ride.
Yeah, that's well, yeah, we'll see.
At least he's young. They're small.
That's true. There's
you know.
certain ones that are like less dangerous seeming,
Yeah.
but also I'm not trying to be a statistic, bro. Not in
Yeah.
that kind of thing. If it folds out on the bed of a fucking semi truck, I'm just generally not interested. I just don't need that in my life, man. At least spend a few days setting up, bolting things into place. You know, give me a little bit of comfort here. I don't want to think this thing just collapsed out of a fucking truck and then it was like, oh, it fucking works now.
Well, you
Here's a
can-
guy we're paying less than minimum wage cash because he's a fucking druggie and a felon, and he's gonna push the buttons and say go. I don't. We got a safety engineer somewhere? What's happening?
Well, you can come with us this year, and you can help me decide which rides are safe, and also that way you won't get escorted out by the cops.
Don't bet on it. I have a track record. That's what we
I
call
love
it these days. But also, I'm trying to cut back on the complicated interactions with law enforcement these
Yeah,
days. I'm
it's
just
not
trying to
good.
remove myself from situations where that's going to happen. Because apparently it turns out like I like to wild out.
The
I
last
didn't know
time-
this until very recently. I'm like, oh God,
Right.
here we go. We can't combine this with my hatred towards authority. It's not going to be a good quality.
The last time I left here, I got followed by a cop up to the casino.
Take him on the tilt-a-whirl. Oh,
And the
Yeah,
whole
right, you're a
time I
bad
just
person.
thought about
so much puke.
what a bad time it would have been for me to get pulled over.
Oh,
I was,
yeah,
I was
dude.
leaving here, and I was just like, fuck.
I don't.
It's the last thing that I need.
It's my phobia. I'm just going to call it phobia at this point of dealing with any form of law enforcement. It's so bad. No matter what happens, if I'm in a position to be within a couple cars length of a police officer, I'm taking a detour. I'm taking a side road. I'm stopping at this random gas station now, and because I feel like all of a sudden I need a liquid death in my life because I just don't want to. I've been pulled over for so many bullshit fucking reasons, which
Yeah.
I knew were bullshit. I could have gone to court and fought them and won probably, because it was like, oh, your tail light's out, and then I get to a place, I'm like, oh, no, it's not. This motherfucker just gave me a ticket for no reason.
Yeah.
Because it's the end of the month and he needed to get whatever. I'm not gonna get on it, but I've been through it so many times, and I'm like, I'm not gonna deal with somebody with the power of the state being behind me that can just choose to ruin my fucking day today.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna deal with that shit, so I just don't.
I knew that because they get me like right outside your neighborhood, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I know that if I pull into a neighborhood now, they will follow me into this neighborhood because I've done
Certainly could. You got to find an establishment to go someplace. Go to a gas station. It's always safe. But I will say this too: I got a lot of cops that live around here. Because we got one neighborhood, two neighborhoods, technically three, and then four if you take that way.
that. And I was gonna,
And there are 6 cops that fucking live here.
yeah,
And so there's tons. Like I see tons of them during shift change and all this stuff. So like you learn the times and you just kind of deal with it.
I was gonna stop at the Eagle, but they pulled into the casino, so it was like it's right before the Eagle,
Yeah. Done.
Yeah, 'cause
Moving
I
on.
thought the same thing. I was like, I will buy something from the Eagle today.
That's
so that
right.
I'm not involved in this
I need
anymore.
a liquid death right now.
Yes.
That's my go-to. Every time I need to take a quick gas station break brought on by the police department, they're boosting the economy through me by making sure I support my local
That's right.
stations. All right, so this next clip
What is that
is-
X on the boat?
on that boat, I don't know what that would be for, to be perfectly honest.
Maybe where you set shit down if you're gonna load it onto the boat.
Could be. It certainly could be. They have all sorts of different reasons, but I've been in a number of massive storms. Particularly the one that I remember the most is when we had over 45-foot swells up in the Bering Sea. We kind of got caught in the storm, and we did what we were supposed to do, essentially try to head to safe harbor. We couldn't get around it. It was worse out further at sea, so we were kind of booking it back in, and then we get into the shit of it. And I mean, this was my first fucking boat too, by the way, the first ship I was ever on. And I was too stupid to realize how much danger we were actually in, where the boat's, it's listing like 35 degrees one way, 35 degrees the other day.
It gets
the other
tilting
way.
side to
Yeah.
side.
And then at the same time, you're also going up and fucking down. And 1 minute, I'm standing on the watch. We're strapped into the bridge wings because you can't go outside at this point, but you also need to keep watch. So me and the other guy on watch are both like in these super thick insulated, coveralls with fucking balaclavas on and this, that, and the other thing. And we got fucking binoculars around our neck for some reason. And then we have a fucking safety cable tied around the actual boat because 1 minute I'm looking 80 feet up at the top of this fucking swell because we're just riding this trough thing, right?
Right.
So if it's a 40-foot swell, 0 is the middle, negative 40's down, plus 40's up. So when you're at the bottom of the trough, you're looking 80 feet up at a fucking wave that's right there. And then the next minute, you're on top of the goddamn world looking straight the fuck down. Terrifying. I was having the time of my fucking life because I had no idea how actually dangerous it was at the time.
Right.
Mind you, the water's so goddamn cold. You fall overboard, 2 minutes, you're dead. Period. There's no getting you back, bud. But this is a ship, is a Navy ship taking head on waves that are got to be close to, if not larger than that size.
Is
And
that what you're
it's
supposed to do? Is
awesome.
drive into them, or like? I mean, that's what it's called. Driving is when you're on the boat. Sail into
you would
them,
you would
even though there's no
steer
sails.
into them.
Steer, okay.
You know, steer into the swells. But honestly, there's different tactics, and it really all depends on like what goal you have at the other end of the day, and what kind of ship you're on, and how it
Right.
maneuvers and stuff like that. But yeah, these guys are doing the exact right thing, and you'll just get a small taste of what it could look and feel like when this happens, because it's wild. You just don't realize. I mean, you're already probably 60 feet up in the air at this point, right? And the worst part is when you get down and then the bottom of the boat smashes and the wave comes over, and then you're just kind of hoping for the best, buddy. You can't see for a minute. You're just hoping you had everything right. You come out the back end of that thing going,
God
holy
damn.
fuck, how did that just happen? And then, oh wait, we're going to do it again. Because now you're on the top side of the
Right.
swell coming back down. So everything looks twice as big. I get videos like this all
There's
over my
alarms
Twitter
going
feed now.
off inside of the bridge.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, that and there's just a lot of like ambient noise going on a bridge like that all the time. There's so much electronics and shit going
Yeah.
off at the same time.
I bet it's super loud.
Oh, dude, it's a whole thing. You're not gonna fall asleep. Let's do this one. This one is because I feel like this is gonna be Dax in at least a couple years, and we need to make sure the sound is up on this one. We're probably gonna have to watch it a couple times because it goes by quick. But this is what I hope for the future of your son, like father, like son.
Your wiener's the size of a Tic Tac.
That's why your mom breast smells so good.
And then the wife does the obligatory thing of like, you asshole, you taught him how to
Your
do
wiener's
that.
the size of a Tic Tac.
Your wiener's the size of a Tic Tac.
That's awesome.
And then
That's
kid
why
fires
your
back,
mom-
that's why your mom's breath smells so good.
Breast smells so good.
Hey, come here.
She thought it was funny too, but she's
It
like, you
did.
can't do that.
Yeah, I gotta
can't
be
having
the
that.
mom
Oh,
here.
That's so funny. Jordan would do that too.
My favorite clip of the last 2 weeks.
I'm like,
on
I'm not
Twitter.
correcting him. I'm
It's-
not. I'm
no,
not fixing
he's-
that.
this is you. You're just too
Yes.
busy dying. Oh my god.
I wouldn't cover it up. I laugh out loud. Like, that's what you get.
That's
shouldn't
what
be
you
fucking
get.
talking
That's
shit. My boy
Okay, so
should have known better coming in this house.
as much as I want to hate him, I'll talk shit on him all day. But this is what keeps bringing me back to the T-Dog Millionaire. Because when he is not doing his thing, he's doing his fucking thing.
You got a $50 million airplane. You got a
So to preface it, he's talking about all the equipment left over in Afghanistan
Okay.
and all this stuff, and how Milley was pushing him to do all this shit, and he has thoughts on Milley after that.
$29 million gorgeous helicopter. We had every type of helicopter. Many of them brand new, literally out of the box.
Out of the box, babe.
28, 29 million. We have 60, $70 million planes. You mean you think it's cheaper to leave it there so they can have it than it is to fill it up with a half a tank of gas and fly it into Pakistan or fly it back to our country? You think, yes, sir, we think it's cheaper, sir. That's when I realized he was a fucking idiot.
Oh my god. That's when I realized he was a fucking idiot. Oh
Dude,
my god.
This is why I'm like, you gotta give it to him.
I know he doesn't drink, but if you could just have like 2 beers with him, you know, like I don't want him to get fucked up. I just mean like in that environment, you know.
I would drink Bud Lights with Donald Trump all day long.
I don't want to see him compromised. I just mean like to in a chill environment
Just get
where
him
he's
fucking
relaxed.
going,
Get him
dude.
2 beers because that's 2 beers for me. I'm good. Like I'm, you know what I'm saying. I'm in a perfect line where you could probably start asking me some shit, and I'll be like, "Oh fuck it, why not?"
Yeah,
you know?
why not?
That's how we get to this show. There's a
I
lot of
love
points
it,
you guys
dude.
have seen it. I start talking. I'm like, nope, fuck it. I'm
No,
doing it.
we're doing it.
I love this week on Kill Tony when that old woman was on stage and he
Did
asked
not
her,
give 2 fucks.
He asked her about banging her husband, and then he said, "That's right. It's my fucking show. I do whatever I want." I
right.
love that so much.
Take control, baby.
It's a 1 full minute for fuck you.
Okay, so I may have discussed on this show before how much I hate seagulls.
Okay.
We call them sea rats because they're terrible and they're federally protected, which is hilarious.
There's way too many of them damn things.
There's way too many of them, but they are federally protected, so you cannot do harm to a seagull, right? I think after this video, you'll all determine that seagulls need to be fucked with at this point, and we should all start just murking them as soon as we see them, right? Coast Guard story. Same boat as I was just talking about, same one I was on. We had this old, kind of salty chief that was on the boat. Head of the department that I was in, more or less, minus the officer, which we don't count because he had a family in a whole nother city, which we don't talk about. But of course,
Jesus
Dutch Harbor
Christ.
had an entire separate family up there. That's a whole deal. But this guy, fucking seagulls were coming up and they were posting up on the bridge wings, right? The little things, like the little porches that hang out outside the actual bridge. So we're out there and they're just fucking with us all day and they're coming up and they're shitting everywhere and he's getting pissed off. It's like, you can't come on here shitting on my fucking boat, making work for my guys. We got enough work to do. Fuck you, seagulls. Let's get out of here. So he decides to take what we call a dead man stick, which we keep all over the ships. They're just bamboo canes that are made for if somebody is electrocuted at a high voltage.
Okay.
You could push them off like that because it's not going to get...
Right.
It's something you could do without killing yourself too, right? We got 440 running through the whole ship. Your heart's going to explode. That's how that's going to go.
Michael's caught a light zap before, and he told me, yeah, you were just a lie when he was like, it's fucked up.
It's rough.
It's really fucked up.
Yeah, they don't fuck around with that shit, right? So
It's a
this
whole
guy...
goddamn ship, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, you got multiple generators that are the size of this room.
Right.
Okay, running the electronics for the entire goddamn ship. It's a big deal.
They just send the power pumping out
Oh,
of the
dude, pumping. And there's usually at least 3 of them. 2 of them are usually online at one time, and then you switch and you change and all that.
And there's
But
so many, like you said, there's so many electronics that need to run at
All of
the time.
all the time, right? And
Yeah, I guess all of them all of the time.
yes, and so we're on fucking watch. I'm standing outside, and these seagulls keep coming down. They keep landing. They're not going anywhere. They're being assholes because ships poop out garbage all the time, so they just follow the ships half the time. And so he gets real fucking tired of it, grabs a dead man stick, and he's like, I'm going to go wave it at the goddamn seagull to scare it away, right? Well, seagull didn't see it coming or was just obstinate enough not to move and got whacked right on the fucking face. It crushed its goddamn skull, and it fell down on the fucking well deck down below the lower decks. So he immediately looks at me, get down there and kick that shit off the goddamn boat. Okay, so I run down there and kick it
so
off.
funny.
But yeah, it's like a 50, because he was telling me afterwards, it's a federal offense, it's a $50,000 fine, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, Chief, that's crazy, man. But that seagull's an asshole. I'm not going to say nothing. It's cool.
Right.
Well, this is proof positive that seagulls are assholes. This is a squirrel. This is a squirrel. A land-dwelling mammal. This thing is just choking the fuck down, dude. It's got a little bit more than it can chew, technically, but it's not going to lose it.
Oh my God.
The squirrel's not moving. It's going to be dead already at this point. It probably suffocated or it's in shock or something like that, but just neck it down, bud. You just gotta get past the legs. It's a very difficult situation at this point. You just gotta choke it down, bud. Get it down. Yep. Yeah, a little bit more, a little bit more.
God.
This is why seagulls need to fucking die. They're disgusting, disease-ridden.
How can it just stomach a whole squirrel?
It'll take up all the esophagus. It's got a bigger fucking thing in its throat, right? Because it likes to hold a lot of food. It's got to be able to swallow a bunch of fish and all that thing. Well, it can also fucking swallow squirrels.
All these people just walking by,
Yeah.
no idea what just happened here. This woman shopping. That's the funniest part. Is
And
that
it's
it's
just
happening,
chilling.
and these people recording are the only ones that know. Maybe if there's other people around them, they're in their car. There's
It's
no
just
one
like,
else that
holy
knows.
fuck, are you seeing
Yes,
this? It's just like, all right, go.
that's crazy.
And almost done. And officially, one land-dwelling fucking squirrel is officially
Like a
food
big
for
black
this
squirrel,
thing.
too.
Oh yeah, bro. It's not small. I mean, it might be a large chickmunk.
Looks like it has a mustache. The last time I went golfing, there was some geese on the green of the last hole, and they had little babies. And so
And it's gone.
the boys
And then
were
it almost
hit by
gets
that
taken
car.
out by a car.
How funny to go through all that just to get ruined by a car afterwards.
By a Kia.
So there were some geese and they had babies. They were like maybe 15 feet from the last hole. So the boys had to putt around them, and the geese were getting super pissed, you know. And it reminded me, we used to go camping in Moses Lake every year, and there was one year my sister was flirting with a guy that was staying at the campsite, and there was this big group of geese out in the lake, and he took this rock and he was just going to try and scare the geese, and he hucked it out right in the middle of the group of geese, and he fucking nailed one right in the head. And it was just all bloodied out in the water. Not dead. Yeah,
shit.
Still making noise. Yeah.
Because they're pesky. They won't just die
Right.
on you.
So, and it's a big ass animal, you know. And it wasn't a huge rock, like, because he wasn't trying to hit one. He was just trying to scare him, you know. So he wasn't trying to fuck one up, but hit one right on the head. Yeah. And my sister and her friend tried to swim out and like get it.
No.
They was mad. And so they had to call like a vet that came out and got it out of the water. Yeah. It was bad, dude.
That's when I just go over and grab its neck and fucking twist like this.
And I think that if we weren't such fucking city slickers, you know, then probably someone would have done that. But we're at like a proper campsite, you know, so we're not even really trying to escape civilization. We just want to. It's not even the woods. It's Moses Lake. It's Eastern Washington, so it's it's just.
If it's redneck territory,
right?
You get into it,
but it's city slickers, yeah. So no one even had the thought to like.
Go out and just fucking misery.
Right. Which
so
I
funny.
think we absolutely should have done.
Oh, yeah.
Looking back now, you know.
I
But
do that to animals that I shoot.
Yeah, I was
you know.
probably 10 at the time. So
Yeah. If you don't think I had to do that to the goose that I killed this year,
Yeah.
you'd be lying.
And this kid that did it was maybe like 17. There's no way he was an adult. So he was.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have thought to do it. You
I'm an
know.
old baby.
I bet if his dad was there, his dad was pretty country. I bet
Get out there, kill that
it-
thing, nice and proper. You fucking already signed its death
Exactly.
warrant. Get out there and seal the deal, kid.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to leave this one with you real quick
Oh,
because I'm going
God.
to pee. I just want you to read this tweet and then comment on their accomplishment.
Okay. June 2019, Crystal and I this is from Sagar and Jetty, who's one of the co-hosts of Breaking Points. June 2019. Hey, chill, bro. Crystal and I start officially hosting Rising together. The Hill has about 6K YouTube subscribers. June 2021, so that's 2 years. We leave The Hill with 1.35 million subs, start Breaking Points from 0. June 2023, we hit another 2 years. We hit 1 million on Breaking Points. 2 channels to 1 million in 4 years. Thank you to everyone who believed in us. So that's true. They're not wrong. He's not wrong, especially as far as The Hill goes. They built that thing from essentially the ground up. And I'm not going to say they didn't do the same thing for Breaking Points, but they also didn't do it alone. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from them because we fucking like 9 subscribers, right?
Yeah.
But
They got a whole team.
but the idea that they did it from 0 gives the idea that they did it with completely no support at all. And they did it with fucking Joe Rogan behind them to begin with. And like
Yes.
multiple other people since then. So which you should do. If the avenue is there, you should do it. If someone asked me if we wanted to go into Rogan, I said, well, absolutely we do.
What
I
day?
wouldn't
Let's
question
go.
it. Say, I'll fucking take out another credit card to fly to Joe Rogan
Yeah.
if he's not going to pay.
So he'll fly us down there.
Right.
It's fine.
I would do it. I'm not shitting on them. But
Yes. It does sound tone deaf though, right?
it leaves a
Because
little to
it's one thing to build, and I think you might have touched on it. It's one thing to build your subscriber from up to 1 million on an existing platform
At the Hill.
at the Hill on Rising, right?
because they built that shit.
Yes.
They built that thing from 6K to 1.3 all on their own at the Hill.
And the recipients of Rising also have Sagar and Crystal to thank because of the audience that was built for them, right?
Yes.
They got to just walk into and try to maintain. Switching over to Breaking Points, again, it's a little unfair to give yourself all that kind of false valor because you had a massive existing audience anyways.
Right, you
and they
carried
just
over.
Yeah, and you're
You
going to lose
started a new
some.
channel.
You're going to lose some, but also it's not a big ask for people to, instead of going to the Hill YouTube, to go to the Breaking Points YouTube. It's
Right.
not a big ask. So there's not a lot.
What were your numbers after 1 month? Because I think
Yes.
that's a more accurate portrayal of what your starting audience was.
Exactly.
Than
Did you
0.
start at 150,000, which
Right.
already boosts you in the algorithm? You're already a known entity. You're safe. YouTube likes you. Bing, bang, boom. And then you're up to 1 million subscribers. Cool. Got it. But also, how many of those subscribers are paid subscribers to your actual run a mill. I don't think they have an open subscriber option in their YouTube. Actually, I should pull that up real
think that
quick
you
because
can.
they probably do, because I don't think
when you're
I don't think
watching a
it's really an
video-
option once you've reached that level of channel, because YouTube wants it more than you probably do at that point.
Just click on one of the videos.
We'll just click on the video. Ba-ba-da-ba. Yep.
You can subscribe at the bottom of their channel.
I should probably subscribe because we do talk a lot of shit on them all the time, and
Yeah.
I unsubscribed from them for a while. But yeah, you can't.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Okay.
You can't join. You can't join the channel.
There's a thing like at the end of their videos that shows up in the middle that you can click on when
Let's
they're
just jump to that real
when they're
quick.
doing their whole
Their whole spiel.
yeah.
The come join us spiel. Join
Yes.
us forever and ever and ever. Oh, what's up, Jasinsk?
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that thing
Right
in the
here.
middle. In the middle, you can click on it.
Oh yeah, so you can subscribe now for more content, and that brings you to Breaking Point / Supercast. So that's their home of where they actually get their subscribers, which is interesting. They do not.
They don't even do their own shit. It's just their YouTube, huh?
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's they use YouTube to the maximum effect ever. I mean, this is just purely a platform for them.
Yeah.
So they don't jump to their see. Then you click on it and then you join the Supercast situation, because Supercast works on all the other major platforms at that point, and it's like a
If you
separate
give us
third
money,
party.
it's the ultimate screw you to CNN and Fox News and MSNBC. If you give us $1,500, yes, it is.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
I'd be curious if they would be transparent enough to share all of their subscriber numbers. What tiers are people playing around with? That would be really interesting. But, again, I don't want to shit on too much for that accomplishment, because it's also an accomplishment, but there's definitely like, what do you call that?
That's not necessarily true.
yeah,
I think
it's-
false valor is a good,
Yeah, it's like you did the million subscriber thing, but also you built your audience up beforehand, and then you moved someplace else, and a lot of them followed
yeah,
you.
0 is not necessarily
and you had a
honest.
ton of corporate backing in the form of YouTube algorithmic support,
Yeah.
and you're not acknowledging that at all. So, and I think I sent you this one earlier.
We hate breaking points.
Yes, yeah, we definitely do.
People don't get it yet.
Hashtag
they
we
don't
hate breaking points.
understand. It's personal beef. They're fucking us. They're fucking everybody.
It just, they've bothered me for a long time, bro.
Yeah.
Ever since they went independent.
We used to love you.
I did. I subscribed to their Supercast for a long time.
Yeah.
I gave them months and months and months, and I was like, you just are lying to me all the time. I don't like it. I think we should teach Dax to do this to Jordan one day,
He loves to be scared.
because he needs to learn to scare people, though.
He even when you try and play hide and seek with him, he gets out of his hiding spot.
Oh,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
count and you.
I
Start
used to scare myself too during hide and seek.
Yeah,
I was
you
like, no,
s-
I can't be here.
You
I can't do it.
start to go and find him, and he's laughing. He's just excited, like he's just jazzed because he knows it's gonna be funny when you.
Oh,
Find
yeah.
him. So yeah, he just pops out, and you're like, I didn't even find you. Like I don't even know where you were hiding.
Yeah. I love that because it reminds me so much of me when I was a kid. All right. So this is just one of the greatest kid pranks I've ever seen. This is what happened when kids have to stay home too much. They figure out ways to fuck with you. So mom, oh no. We gotta turn that down. Unfortunately, otherwise we're gonna get popped again. I'm tired. The grab bag always fucks
They're
me.
getting us.
That's when it happens. Mom comes home, opens the door, got a whole thing of Starbucks.
Scared the shit out of her. Oh, it's quick too. Ran immediately. Oh, she's pissed. Oh,
And then shoots her with the thing.
oh, Jordan would murder him. She would think it was so funny afterwards, but she would be so mad when it happened.
I have to know. So, audio listeners only. She's got a whole thing of
5 of
Starbucks,
them.
5 Starbucks. She's having to balance it with her chin right as she opens the door. Kid is standing in the corner behind the door with a Michael Myers mask on. Doesn't do anything. It just sprints away from her.
Oh, it's so funny.
How terrifying. And she loses all the Starbucks.
And it doesn't look like she
drops
spills
her phone.
too much on herself, which is
No.
pretty good, you know.
It's just terrifying.
All over
And
the
then
floor.
as she's dealing with the terror, there's this weird white foamy substance
It's like
that just
flour
gets
or something.
blasted. It looks like shaving cream. Boom! It just fucks with her. And then she has the ultimate method. Ah!
Oh, that's so funny.
And then the kid, I would hope, just runs for his fucking life. Because that shit's... Luckily, all those Starbucks, they just had regular ass coffee in it,
Yeah.
from the looks of it. There doesn't seem to be a lot of like milk and shit spilled. So,
Or
you
Jordan
know,
would be
you know,
pissed.
It's just so fucking perfect, dude.
I can only hope that he gets that creative one day. I know that I'll be the victim sometimes, but
Oh, yeah.
that's worth it.
I got
dude.
a whole channel that I follow on Twitter. I got to send it to you at some point. It's a whole family that fucks with each other. It's 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and then the dad, and the mom, right? And what they always do, their go-to is to like fill up little water balloons full of, it's got some kind of like shaving cream or something with a white foamy substance, right?
Yeah.
And they hang them all over the place, right? Throughout the house, and they'll set up these little traps, and then they'll shoot them with their little fucking Nerf guns, and they pop, and then they spill out over somebody, and then usually it's like, all right, I know they're going to run this direction, and then we're going to hit them again from the second time, and then get the second or third one, and I've seen 1,000 videos of it, and they all are just having the best fucking time because they're all into the game.
Oh my god.
This one I ran across is a real quick video, but it's a true definition, I think, of how flat earthers justify the extinction of the dinosaurs.
Okay.
Right. And it's so for audio
That's
listeners
the
again.
flat Earth.
This is flat Earth with the ice wall around it, as
Okay.
per is the
That's
way
what the
we do
theory
things,
is.
right? And then, but they maintain the meteor aspect.
An ice wall around it.
Yes. So the meteor comes in, and then the dinosaurs watch the meteor, and then it just hits one side. And the flat Earth
They just all fell off.
it just tilts it really hard in one direction, and all the dinosaurs fly off. So really, the only dinosaur bones we're seeing at this point are ones that already previously died that were stuck in the ground.
Right.
All the other dinosaurs just got flung out into outer space.
That's really funny.
This one we'll just do it real quick. You do your own little look at this list. You give yourself 1 point for everything you've never done. I'll read them while you do it. Use a rotary phone, use a floppy disk, use a typewriter, taking photos on a film camera, listen to music on a CD, listen to music on a cassette tape, listen to music on a vinyl record, listen to music on a Walkman, listen to music on a boombox, watch a TV with a VHS tape, send or receive a fax, recorded music from radio onto a cassette tape, rented a video from Blockbuster, accused the internet or accessed the internet by dial-up, used a phone book, sent a postcard, used a paper map to get somewhere, owned a dictionary, owned an encyclopedia, or paid with a paper check. The idea is how many of those things, give yourself a point for each one of those things that you've done. Shorter answer is, I got 0 points. I've done everything on this list.
So I've never paid with a person, like my own paper check, but I've paid with other people's checks before. I've like written a check. My grandma, like, she would write me a check to like buy groceries, you know? She would send me in with a list and a check that she had already signed.
And then you just fill out the thing.
Yeah, so I've done that. I've never personally had checks because I've never needed them.
So I'm going to go ahead and say you have to take a point for
I'll
that.
take one. Yeah, and that's fine, but that's the only one.
And I'll
I've
say
done-
at this point, I haven't had paper checks in a very long time.
Yeah.
But I did at one point. And I wrote multiple rent checks and utility checks.
But I've done all the other stuff.
You've used a typewriter.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've used
Okay.
typewriter.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Never for like a school thing, you know, for
Oh,
fun.
yeah,
But
just
I've
for
u-
fun.
Yeah, but I've used one before. We had one, I remember at my daycare, there was one.
They're a bitch, man. Fuck a
yes.
typewriter. I don't know. Like, it's cool to have that
Yeah.
tactile thing, but it's a fucking bitch, man. And if you fuck up, congratulations, you're starting to fuck over
Well,
at
they're
the top
heavy,
of the
too.
page.
Yeah, they're heavy too.
Older than dirt, Deborah says. All of them. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
Deborah, I'm only 30. I'll be 36 soon. So I'm 36 years old, and I also have had 0 points on this.
We had dial-up when
So
we
you're
first,
older than you think.
we had dial-up when we first had internet, and
Check.
we had still some shit on floppy disk, like some computer stuff. My neighbors had a rotary phone.
3.5 or 5.5 inch floppy. Did you ever get in the big thin joints, or were you just rocking the short little,
Yeah, the shorter ones.
shorter
I think.
ones?
No, the bigger ones.
the big
Yeah.
black ones?
We had old computer
Oh,
when
okay.
when I was a kid. My neighbors had a rotary phone, and I remember they got it when I was a little bit older, and I didn't know how to use it. I had to ask them how to use
Oh
it.
yeah, because you got to pick the dial,
Right.
pick the number, dial all the way around, wait,
I was
pick
trying
the
to,
next number.
I was trying to just push in the holes.
Oh yeah.
And his mom watched me, and she said, "Have you ever used one before?" I said, "No, I have not." And she's like, "I will show you." I was like, "I don't even know how to do this, dude."
This is some antiquated bullshit.
And I
here.
just, like, as I was doing it, I was like, "This is dumb as fuck. Like, this is the dumbest way to use a telephone. Like, to wait so long.
Oh, my
for-
God.
if there's 9s in here to wake all, or zeros.
Game over. Or you got to
Dude.
dial an 800 number.
Yeah, like, dude, no way. This is stupid. But
Yeah, you can pay over the phone with the personal check. Just call this 1-800 number.
Right.
And you can pay your utility bill that way. Okay, give me
No way,
5
dude.
minutes. I'll dial your fucking number.
yeah, I remember the phone book. Someone fucking hit me with that when I was bitching about personal information the other day, and they were like, "You literally used to have everything in a phone book. Like your address was in a phone book. You're this, you're this." And I was like, "I remember that." You know.
Only if I bought a house under my name.
Yeah, different time.
It was a
But
different time. Yeah, the next house I buy, I'm not using my own fucking name. I'm starting an LLC just to buy my own.
I wonder
my
if you
next
can
house.
still get a phone book.
You can.
Yeah.
They're just not as
gotta order
girthy
one.
as they used to
I
be.
bet.
You know? I will say, the interesting thing about the rotary phone is when they first got rid of it, and you could press the keys, they still came in a circle for a while. And then you
You're
pressed
right,
the
right.
keys in a fucking circle, and then they were like, "All right, let's go
Make a
fucking square
square,
pad.
yeah.
And let's solve for X here."
So dumb.
Okay. We've all heard of slapboxing these days. It's real
Yes.
big. This is the greatest subgenre of slapboxing, and I will tell you exactly why.
Ćwiartson odpowie swojemu przeciwnikowi. No
I know
mówię,
some people that
40
went to
kilo
midget
podejrzewam,
wrestling not too long ago.
Oh, yeah?
różnica, ale-
Oh, the squeak is hilarious.
Ćwiartson.
The squeak is hilarious. That's really funny. The squeak is hilarious.
I just can't. I don't know why everything's funnier in miniature,
Yeah,
but it is.
that's rough, dude.
And that, my friend, brings a close to the grab bag portion of this particular segment. Now we're going to get into a new segment, a new version of this thing, which I am not excited about to get into.
Do you want me to go first?
I don't know if I do or not. I kind of feel like I might just want to do this first because I know it's going to be a whole deal.
Little people exploitation. You're
It
probably
is
not
indeed,
wrong.
Deborah.
Yeah. Riley also Garrett said that he went to the midget wrestling too. So I know 2 people who went to the midget wrestling. They both said they enjoyed it very much.
I mean, Bickett's like company, so
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the way it
They
goes.
didn't go together, which is really funny that I knew 2 separate people who both went to the same event. But
I'm excited because I'm a big fan of the Drinking Bros podcast, right? You know?
Yeah.
And they have a special coming up somewhat soonish where they've booked a lot of them because you
a
can,
lot of them.
Yes. Remember what I said about them earlier today?
Yeah.
They found a website that you can essentially like hire talent, some of which are strippers and strippettes or whatever you want to call it, dudes and chicks. And they decided they're going to go ham one day and they're just going to book a gang to come over and hang out for the podcast. I'm really excited for that. It's probably going to be a Patreon special. But,
You probably have to.
Ooh. One other thing I totally forgot to ask you, especially because I know you know this particular human relatively. You've been following him and what they do for a very long time. A guy by the name of Brian Johnson.
From Tell 'em Steve Dave.
From Tell 'em Steve Dave, at Tell 'em Steve Dave, 100%.
I love Tell 'em Steve Dave.
And how do I do this thing? I got to go here. I got to check my tweets and retweets. All right. Do you know this
Whoa.
person at all?
No.
Zia Anderson, right? She's friend of Chrissy Mayers, Melanie Max, Keanu Thompson, a bunch of like the hot comics and stuff that I
Okay.
like. But she does a lot of live streams with Chrissy Mayer, and she has her own show called Zia Land, and she had on fucking Brian Johnson the other day, and I was like, I checked out the live stream, and they were just sitting there talking about they watched Boogie Nights,
Yeah.
and then they were reviewing Boogie
He
Nights
loves
because
this
he
shit.
loves that show,
He
and
loves
that's the
this shit.
first time she's ever seen it. And I was like, is there some connection here
How
that
the
you
fuck
might
did
know
that
that I
happen?
don't know?
No.
Because she also does OnlyFans and stuff like that too. But
No. So he has weird fingers all over the place. So
yeah, he seems like a guy that's got his shit into kind of every little place,
Yes.
right?
He does another show that's called like Would You Kindly or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that he does that with is kind of famous. And he also knows Dave Landau. Like him and Dave Landau have been
Okay.
friends for a very long time. And so he just has weird.
And there's a connect right there with Dave and Chrissy Mayer too.
He used to be on Opie and Anthony all the time.
Okay.
Like
Again
pretty
with Dave.
frequently.
Yeah.
So So I think
Okay.
it's probably just crossing circles. They probably
so
just
wild.
met at some type of fucking, maybe one of Dave's shows or something like
Yeah,
that.
it could
like
be
that's-
that.
Yeah.
Because I ended up watching about a half hour of this live stream. The two of them were just feeding off each other. It was so good because
He's
they're
so
talking about
funny.
Boogie Nights and they're talking about other movies and this,
Yeah.
that, and other thing. And she's so much younger, obviously, and so
Yes.
it was fucking great. I highly recommend it, man.
When his wife is, Brian Johnson's wife is like close to my age. She's super young. So he's very used to that dynamic of having especially a
Mm-hmm. That
young
works.
woman to like bounce that off of.
Yeah.
So that's his whole life.
It was so
now
good.
is-
I will, before we leave and close up shop today, I'll find the actual live stream. I'll
I
fucking
will-
send it to you
I
because it's a
will
real.
watch her
It was a
for-
great episode.
Yeah.
it was great. She,
I'll-
just in that outfit, and the two of them are just talking about movies the whole time, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what I love.
I'll watch that. I'll watch her for an extended period of time, especially if
well you
she's with
should.
Brian Johnson. I'll do that.
She's a fascinating human being.
Yeah, I bet.
Chrissy Mayer has
Oh,
done
I bet.
amazing things for my fucking YouTube feed because she has on all sorts of fucking people, man. That's
My
how I
goodness.
discovered Keanu Thompson, who has her own show now. She's fucking hilarious. But yeah, I came across that last night and I just started watching the fucking live stream. I was like, oh my god, Donovan's got to know. If there's a connection between these two that anybody would know, it would be you.
That's
Because they don't.
excellent.
I went back to the beginning of the live stream to see if they talked about it. They didn't.
That's so funny.
So, but I feel amiss at this point. I have no idea where the two of them cross streams at this point, but it was fantastic.
She's hot. It's
She's not hot, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And she's fucking hilarious, by the way. Okay, so
time for bits.
I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start.
This is its time.
I'm just gonna start.
So
It
everyone
is
knows it's
time.
time for bits.
Tell me I don't have to make a clip out of this, right?
Oh, I don't. You might have to. You might have to.
All right.
We'll wait till my joke is done and we'll see if whether or not we can. It's
this
pretty
is,
bad.
And this is the first time because all I've ever done is write it and read it in my mind. I haven't done it out loud yet.
Okay. I only
And-
gave a rough delivery to Jordan, so we're both in the same. I just told her like this is kind of how I'm going to go about it.
Word. And Carolina does not get my humor. at
Kevin,
all.
oh, I'm
God
glad
damn
you're
it,
here,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Why the fuck?
Kevin, you are here. Okay, we're about to do our comedy bits. First ever comedy bits. It's going to be bad. Deborah, I'm
I'm
going to
telling you.
apologize to you right now. Mine is you're a mother and a
Atrocious.
grandmother, and I apologize.
That sets things up quite nicely.
Yeah.
Because mine is very unoffensive to everyone, which is probably not that great. And I tell you, there may not be a punchline, but there's good bones here, I would hope. Okay, so privilege is a big word these days. You know, it's definitely thrown around a lot, for sure. There's a lot of privilege being thrown around. Cisgendered privilege, two-parent household privilege, heteronormative privilege, white privilege.
Okay.
You know, I've got all this privilege, and I think that it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. I like my privilege. I appreciate it. I appreciate every single time I get to like gain some privilege. Seems pretty cool in the world, right? I didn't ask for it, and I don't ask for it. But whenever somebody offers me new privilege, and I'm like, word, I'm here for it. So people just giving me privileges. The longer and longer time goes on, it's not my fault. I identify with every new version of the privilege you decide to give to me. But there is one type of privilege that I do claim that hasn't really come from anybody, and that's it's tall guy privilege.
Okay.
I'm 6'4", and obviously I have tall guy privilege. There's lots of things that I get to do in the world that most people can't. I can reach up on the highest shelf in the grocery store. It's pretty sweet. I can see over the top of crowds. I can always find somebody in a crowd. It's a pretty sweet deal. I don't ever need to own a step stool. Not a bad deal, right? I also don't have to climb a ladder to hang Christmas lights, which happens to be like the #1 accident prone situation for that time of year. So I get to like potentially live longer, which is pretty sweet. Every girlfriend I've ever had is always going to be shorter than me. As a guy, I take that for the W that it is. I mean, it kind of rules to actually be tall, right? But there's a lot of guys out there that try to identify as tall that I don't really think are tall, like all the 6'3" guys, all the 6'2" guys. That's not really that tall. And I personally like to set the bar at tall guy status at 6'4", which
Right where you are.
happens to be where I'm at. Oh, fuck. I already fucked it up. But
You're
no.
good.
I say, no. 6'4" is where the limit is. If you think you're a tall guy, if you've reached tall guy status and you're 6'3", newsflash, you're wrong. You don't get to do that. And only at 6'4" do you achieve the actual level of tall guy privilege status, in which case you get issued your official tall guy privilege card, and then you get to lord it over everybody as you look down on them. It's so bad. It's funny.
It was almost a dad joke. It was good. That was not bad. That was really
I
funny.
couldn't find a punchline, so I went with a pun.
No, that was funny.
That was not that bad. That was not that bad. I definitely didn't read half my script, by the way. I just kind of hit key points.
You're good. That's all I have is really like kind of key points.
Oh, and thank God I'm the producer and I didn't put the camera on me directly. So now you get the camera.
Oh, that's not nice.
We'll do even rules. We can hang out here. You
Okay.
can tell me the joke.
All right. So here it is, Deborah. Okay.
Tell Deborah.
Yeah, this is just for you, Deborah. I'm just kidding. So all the young girls now they're just going all natural, right? With all the things. They don't want hormones and anything. I don't, my makeup needs to be test free, like all this type of stuff. And
Don't
play
look.
basketball.
Don't look. Keep the bit going.
Yeah, so no hormones or anything. Jordan really restricts, like kids can't have talent, all this type of stuff, right? So she's not even on like birth control anymore because she's like, the hormones are going to make sure that everything is all in line, right? So we use like the rhythm method and like the pull-out method. You know what I'm saying? That's just how we operate things. That's the best way to go. It's the best way to go. So the other night we're having sex and I finished, right? And so I walked away and I got a little like a hand towel for her and I'm like, here, right?
As a gentleman
so,
does.
Yeah, as a gentleman does. So she cleaned up and then I was like laying down next to her. And she gave it to me, and I said, "There is a ton of cum in this towel." and she says, "Oh, I wonder who did that." And I said, I didn't put that there. and so we're laughing. I said, that is not where I left it.
No, sir, but gravity does the work. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I like yours better than mine, to be perfectly honest. It was great. And yeah, Deborah, I almost put in a line about basketball. It just seemed too easy. Oh my God. All right, so let's recap.
Yeah.
Talk to me, and then I'll talk to you.
It was not bad. I think it was longer than I expected, but I wasn't like this is very long. So no,
It didn't start out with privilege. It came partway through the tall guy stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
we gotta factor in some stuff here.
That's it. It was a short bit, Deborah. That's it. It was a short
all I got.
situation.
Well,
That's
that's all it
That's a
was.
true story. That's a true story. That really happened, and it happened. And then Jordan, it was just the other day, and so she's like, "You have to write your bit on that." And I was like, "Oh, that would be so funny." And she said, "I dare you to do it." And I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
I think I'm going to do it."
It's my show. It's my show. I'm gonna do it.
I
Anyway.
didn't think of anything better throughout the day. I'd tell another story. When Trench and I met, Trench and I are best friends, because this is the other. I thought about doing this one, and then this shit happened with Jordan. I was like, "That's way too funny not to do."
It is pretty funny.
And,
That's not where I put that.
Yeah, and we're laughing, and I said, "I did not put that there," or "That's not where I lived." Oh, it was hilarious. Yeah, it was very, very funny. And so when I met Trenton, we became best friends in the 8th grade, and we had science class together. He walked up to my desk and he put his balls on the corner of my desk.
As one
He
does.
didn't take them out; they were still in his pants. But
just set them
lifted
up
them
there.
and set them on there. And he said, "What's up, bitch?" And so that's what it became. And his deal, he's always done stuff like that. She's like, "Guess you had to be there." I thought that was pretty funny.
I think I've had so many similar situations that I'm like, word.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all right, Deborah. Maybe you
Deborah
thought-
already said she's older than dirt. So
maybe
she
you
just-
thought the Collins was funnier.
she's too she's too squared away of a woman. She doesn't appreciate your grotesque sense of humor.
I apologized before I did it. So Trenton's always been in that type of humor, like showing his dick to people and stuff. Not like gratuitously, but
Jackass level
he'll
style,
do it,
right?
And so we were
He'll do it.
we were seniors, and we only had one class together senior year, and it was the first period, so it's fucking 6 a.m. And we're sitting around this table together. That was like. It was a square table, 2 on each side. Trent and I are sitting on one side, and there's another kid named Jacob that's sitting next to Trent on the other side. And Trent is giving Jacob just the weirdest fucking look.
Pause button. Trent's giving him the weirdest fucking look.
Yeah.
In the chat, if you're still here, chat 1 if I had the better joke, chat 2 if Donovan had the better joke. Let's
There you
go.
go.
Let's see what happens.
So Trent's giving Jacob a super weird look, and I've been best friends with him for a while, and so I don't know what's happening, but
Jesus.
so he knows the struggle of the privilege. So I don't know. Colin's joke was offensive. As someone who's 6'2" offended me, I need a safe space now. That's awesome.
I pissed off all the short people in the world.
2. That's 1 point for me. I think Deborah might be in line for you. She didn't think that was very funny. So I can tell that Trent's doing something, but
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing, you know?
But he's up to no good.
And whatever it is, I know that I don't want fucking no part of it. So I'm not even looking at him. I'm just doing my thing. I'm writing something, and he's sitting next to me. I can see that because I can see his hands moving too, you know? So I'm like, I don't even want to know what he's doing. And he's looking at Jacob, and Jacob finally like, why are you looking at me like what are you doing? You know, you
going
can
on
see that
here?
he's moving his hands too. And so Trent like kind of looks under the table, you know, he like peeks like this, and he looks at Jacob, does this. So Jacob looks at the table, and Trent slipped his dick out of the leg of his basketball shorts, and is just looking Jacob in the eye. Yes. Jacob says, "Oh!" And he starts laughing. I said, "What happened? What happened?" He's got his fucking dick out.
Oh God! Have I told you about the time? Again, we're going back to my first ship. Every story this time. On the ships, right? We get these movies brought in that are old school like film rolls that they play on the mess
Proper
deck all the
reel.
time, proper reels. And the first movie that I was ever privy to was the movie called Waiting with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Great fucking movie, right? Deborah went with 2. God damn it.
Woo! That was a solid bit.
Yeah,
Solid bit and a fucking true story.
Mine was clean, okay?
It was
I could
clean.
Jerry Seinfeld this shit.
Dude, I apologized. I knew, like, I told Jordan, I was like, Colin's going to be cut off because, like, I just don't tell stories like that. And I was like, I think that's going to, like, be good for me, the shock factor of this.
But yeah, we're watching Waiting, and that's, you know, there's that whole theme throughout the whole movie of, like, the dick game. You show your
Yes.
balls or, your, you know, something or whatever. Well, that took off on the boat.
Of course it did.
Of course. We got a bunch of fucking 18 to 20-year-olds. Of course that's going to fucking take off. And so we do this shit. We watch that movie probably it's on every goddamn night.
It's super
right?
funny, too.
And we watch it over and over and over again. And then so we started playing the game with the with the bat wing, with the brain, with the with the whole thing. And then we started to create our own moves because, you know, you can't just be doing that stuff. I've been hearing all the jokes all my life. Way to go.
Tall
Deborah.
jokes all my
Tall
life,
jokes.
man.
Yeah, they're pretty outdated, but I didn't know what to do.
Maybe we'll do this again sometime.
Oh,
now that
I
the
certainly
pressure's
will.
off.
Yeah, I had a good time trying to come up with bits, and most of them were just too long. I was too wordy. I couldn't find enough tags and stuff like that. And then I don't know if I can come up with a punchline for anything, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But I'm going to keep writing just because it's fun.
I had it easy. Mine was.
It just happened
I'm just
to
gonna
you.
write this down.
It just happened to you, right? I almost did a thing about road rage. Have you ever been in a road rage incident or seen a road rage incident?
No.
Okay, so the story I was going to develop afterwards, because just to finish out the Waiting story, we did that shit for months. We started coming up with our own news. The worst of all was the carrot nose Snuffy, which nobody actually ever did, thank God. But it was the whole thing where the ultimate move in the movie Waiting, what monthly contest, Deborah says. Well, Deborah, join at top tier Patreon and we'll talk. We'll do that. Then it'll be worth it to humiliate myself every fucking 2 weeks on this show. Actually, you know what, Deborah? Yeah, daily. She says, daily, let's go. I was like, I'm willing if you sign up to top tier. I was like, I'll do one on my own on the fucking beer show on Fridays.
If you
How about
top tier,
that?
I will Patreon you a joke every single day. I mean, something.
Not even Hans Kim could do that. But yeah, the carrot nose Stuffy was developed, and basically it was the move where you bend over backwards, upside down. Like you drop your pants, you bend over backwards, right, and then you stuff your junk between your legs, which I think was just called the Snuffy in the show. But the carrot nose Snuffy was then you turn around and stick a carrot in your ass and wait for somebody to walk around, and then that was the whole thing. Nobody One guy attempted it, but it's unconfirmed because nobody actually saw it.
Yeah.
And so apparently we heard the story and he showed us the carrot, and there was like a mark on the carrot where you can tell part of it wasn't dry. So there was a whole thing to be had there, but it was a whole deal. But anyways, this road rage story. Lived in Rhode Island this was Staten Island. I lived in Staten Island. And the worst thing was I worked in Jersey, but I lived in Staten Island. And so every day I had to drive across the length of Staten Island, not that far, fucking 15 minutes max with no traffic. You get on the freeway, you take the bridge, pay the toll. Next thing you know, you're in the shithole of New Jersey known as Bayonne. But on the way back from work, it was terrible because you get out at like 3 o'clock, 3:30, whatever, and then you have to drive all the way through rush hour traffic. It would take me an hour to drive what took me 15 minutes in the morning. And one day, I'm sitting on the Staten Island Expressway, right? And there's a box truck up there, or not even a box truck, a full on semi truck with a big ass box trailer, right? And there's this fucking minivan behind it, just damn near underneath this thing, right? And this fucking looks like a big old broad. It's hard to tell, but it's a big old broad sitting there fucking punching on the horn, getting pissed off at this guy. And at the earliest convenience, pulls in the other lane, shoots up in front of him, pulls right in front of this fucking semi-truck, right? And then starts brake checking the semi-truck, right? And the semi-truck, this is New York, bro. All the blue-collar workers in New York are immigrants. Full stop. And this guy, he must like Pakistani, Indian, something like that. Skinny guy from somewhere in that part of the world. And he starts getting pissed off, right? And so he starts revving his fucking engine and like getting close, and then the van would brake check him, and then he'd get close and the van would brake check him, and eventually the truck hits the back end of the van, right? And so both of them stop, and they both get out, and this whale of a woman gets out of that fucking minivan, and we're in stop and go traffic, bro. I'm just watching this whole fucking thing go down, right? And this younger, Pakistani Indian type individual starts like, raising his hands like this, and they're both yelling, and obviously I can't understand what's going on. And then what the fuck happens? But this giant ass fucking whale of a woman like fishes around in her purse and pulls out a fucking gun and just starts waving it in the air like this. And homie jumps back in his truck, shuts the door, rolls up his window, and just sits there.
Yeah, that's going to protect you.
And then eventually she hems and haws, get in her vehicle, and drives away.
God.
But I thought there was something funny to be had there. I just couldn't. At the end of the day, nothing actually happened, so there's no real life story to be told there other than that crazy ass event that just happened. And so I bailed on that last night. I was absolutely certain that throughout the week that I can come up with something here. Because the one I told you about earlier, it's too long of a story. That's a 10-minute long bit. There's no way I could do that. And so I walked away from that, and I was like, road rage is great. Everybody knows road rage. Everybody experiences it. I can come up with something, and I can just make up a little something at the end to make it funny. I couldn't do it. So I came up with this bit last night. And then finally, this morning, about an hour before you got here, I still had the last line empty. And I was like, I got to come up. Let's go with a pun. Fuck it. Let's just walk away. Yeah. But to judge yours, I will say, obviously true event, because we've all been there. Shout out to the chat. Minus you, Deborah. You may not have been there, but, because the apps these days are pretty great as far as, like, non-birth control stuff.
Yeah.
And I advocate them fully. It was also, actually, God, I don't understand how I keep coming back here, but in Staten Island, when I was stationed there, one of my best friends, him and his wife were not on birth control, and I did not quite understand how you could get away with that at the time. But his wife was on this app that cycled, and you take your temperature every day, you do all this shit, and then come to find out that's actually the best way to do shit, because your cycle according to your temperature and days, this, that, and the other thing is way more accurate than just like popping a pill and fucking up all your hormones every day. I mean, it's really sweet. You just got to stay on top of it. Take your temperature every day. You got to get the special temperatures that go down to like 1/10 of a degree instead of just 10th and 100th of a degree, 2 digits, not just 86 or 98.6, but 98.62, whatever. And then I can attest from years of taking advantage of that situation. You can You can get away with a lot for a long time.
You should store the information yourself because if you use those apps, they sell that data.
Oh, word.
And then you get fucking targeted ads while
She's
you're
on
your
TikTok all the time. It don't matter.
I don't
She's
mean
giving
her.
away
I
the whole
mean
thing.
anybody else. Anybody who's trying to limit their exposure on the internet.
Kevin, this is my problem. So she was fat and couldn't drive. Must have been hard to drive with
Flipper arms. Jesus Christ.
I mean, today especially, you see lots of. How do you fit in that car? I don't understand how you're driving. But anyways, I don't want to fat shame people. It's just kind of hilarious when you see it.
No,
when they're crammed into super small vehicles, it's kind of funny.
We got Kevin as listener. We shame everybody. This guy's fucking hustling his ass off.
That's right.
While the powers that be are out there like, no, we should accept people for
fuck you,
healthy at every size and shit. And Kevin's like, I'll die if I don't lose weight. Like
exactly.
I can't get the surgeries I need.
I go with the Japanese model, man. In Japan, I follow a bunch of them Japan vloggers and stuff like. Shout out Kevin Garcia.
You're
What's
a
up,
baller.
that guy?
Champion.
It's a whole deal over there, man. If you're a little chubby, the entirety of society is going to comment on like, oh, you're like a little sick.
I don't know about all that,
you
but
know, like it's a whole, and it keeps people fucking healthy. That's all I'm saying.
I bet it keeps people
I'm
skinny.
down with body shaming. That's all.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would body shame me more. Get rid of my fucking beer gut.
You're terrible.
And on that note, good sir, I think we can call this bitch to a close.
That is right. With that, everyone, we will call the show to an end. So thank you, everybody, for being here with us today, for enjoying this show.
And enduring our crappy comedy bits.
That's
Although I
right.
think yours were pretty good.
I appreciate that.
It just seemed it was too real, bro. It was too real.
Too real.
It was so good.
And of course, if you want to see more of this content, help us make more, go and subscribe. Fetch him, everyone, Kevin says. That's right. Go and
I'm down
subscribe
for it.
to our Patreon and help us make more better content just like this. Help us quit our jobs. Help us do this all the time and just make content for you and help people understand freedom and liberty and what true beauty is in that.
Just imagine this show 5 days a week.
That's right.
Just imagine that. We won't do 7 hours.
No,
we'll do
no,
that.
no.
We'll still do that every 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
imagine this show every day, Monday through Friday, for a solid hour plus.
Yeah.
That would be sweet, right?
100%.
You've lost 211 pounds. For fuck's sakes, buddy.
You're a fucking baller, dude.
I
You're
am
an
just-
absolute champion.
I am in awe. I am in awe of the dedication. Good God. Keep it
You're
up, buddy.
an absolute champion.
And I'm just Jesus Christ.
Yes. He's a baller, dude. He's a baller. And he sends us stuff on Instagram all the time. Shout out to Kevin. He's a
The
baller.
man. The man.
Yes. So with that, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you guys again. You can find me at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. And Colin is at Big Bird Offie on both those things. You can find all of this at saltofthestreets.com. Deborah, Kevin is on our Instagram. You can find him there so you guys can connect outside of the chat if you want. Because, yeah, Kevin he's busting his ass. He's got gardens going. He's growing his own medicine. He's fucking balling. Kevin is a champion. I love Kevin. He's a huge part of the show. You guys are amazing. We love you, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Oh wait, hold on. I have a thing I want to try.
We got a thing. We
I've
got
been
to try.
trying to find a thing, for the.
It's good.
And I wrote one.
Oh, nice. I wish my calendar could be that full.
Here it is. Be safe. Be smart. Be strong, and be free. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Peace.
Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every